It's a powerful thing to be able to let go and surrender. Letting go of the wants and the desires of your life and how your life goes, and you expect certain things from life and something else comes. Letting go of all that stuff will free you. Because when we suffer, suffering is the point between what reality is and then what we want reality to be, or our preconceived notion of what something's going to be. Like, we put something on such a high pedestal and then it doesn't amount to that. And then that gap in between what reality is and what we wanted it to be, that's the suffering. That's the suffering, and it comes from you desiring other stuff, desiring more than what is. When you're able to let go of those desires of, like, who told you that you should be looking forward to something, that you should be putting something on such high of a pedestal? Who told you that situation in your life was supposed to go like that? Like, for example, you go out and do something and you thought it was going to go one way and it goes another way, and it was out of your control. But you're so mad because it went this way. It went left instead of right. When you wanted it to go right, you were like, okay, it's going to go right, and then it goes left. But you had no control over it. And it's so hard to do, but it's simple. If you can really grasp that concept and think about it, who told you that it was supposed to go right? Why did you think that it was supposed to go right? It could have went left or right, but you have to surrender to either fact. Either it goes this way, or it goes this way. And I'm okay with either one because it's out of my control. It's out of my control, so therefore, I'm going to let it be what it is going to be. If you're going into the situation saying it's going to be right, it's going to be right, I'm going to be upset if it's not right, and then it turns out left, you're upset because that's where the suffering comes. That's where you're going to be suffering. So you have to let go. You have to surrender. You have to surrender to what's going to happen. You have to surrender to the things that happen in your life. And that's what's going to give you peace of mind. That wrestling you do with the anger, with the sadness, with the anxiety, with the depression, whatever it is, sometimes you're supposed to feel like shit. Sometimes stuff isn't supposed to work out. Who told you that life was supposed to be peaches and cream the whole time? That you weren't supposed to feel angry, you weren't supposed to feel sad, everything's going to go your way? Why do you think that? Why do you think that's going to happen? Sometimes it's going to go left, and you have to be okay with it going left. And what makes it a lot easier to be okay with it going left is if you didn't expect anything to begin with. If you said, I'm going to let whatever happens, happens, and then it happens. And then left happens, then you're like, okay, that's what happened, and I was ready for either way. If you can make that switch in your mind, if you can surrender to basically, if you believe in God, then God's will. If not, then the universe's will of what's going to happen, fate. If you can surrender to that, it will free you. It will free your mind so much from that, from all those desires and stuff you have. Because you got to think, that's where the suffering happens. That's where suffering takes place. When you want something, you desire something, and a different outcome comes from it. That's where the suffering is. In the Bible, it says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And that's a crazy one. If you believe in God and you believe in his divine power, then thinking about it like, God, give me the acceptance and the peace to accept the things I cannot change. What I cannot change, give me the acceptance to be able to accept whatever happens in that scenario. Give me the courage to change the things I can, because there's a lot of things that are under your control. There's a lot of things in your life that you could say are under your control, and you can make a lot better. You can make the chances of something good happening for yourself a lot more likely if you do certain things. So give me the courage to change the things I can, and then give me the wisdom to know the difference between the two. To know the difference between something I cannot change and something that is under my control. You know? I heard someone talk about this online, and it was interesting, because praying to God and saying, God, give me something, It's like, let's say I think the story was, you pray every day to catch the bus on time. You pray every day to catch the bus on time, and then you sprint after the bus. And then you run to catch that bus. You run to the bus stop to make sure you don't miss it. You don't pray for the bus and then show up late or walk to the bus stop. God's going to look at you like, you're not even trying. You say that you want this, you're praying to me for this, but you don't even want it. So there's a lot of things in your life that you can pray for, but you've got to do the work. Like I say, I want to be a fitness coach. Okay. Does that mean I sit back and like hope I become a fitness coach and do like the bare minimum and think I'll be able to become a fitness coach? No. I have to try my absolute hardest to become that and pray for that, and then it shall be. And I need to surrender to the outcome. I need to surrender to the outcome of the thing. I dropped an Instagram reel today that was talking about, you need to surrender. You need to give your all to everything in life, but then surrender to the outcome. Surrender to the outcome and let go of your desires of success for the outcome. It could be a success or failure, but do the work. Make sure you run for the bus. You do the things you know you need to do, and then the outcome comes when it comes. Like for me to stress every day, like why am I not have a bunch of clients? Why am I not doing X, Y, and Z? Why am I not making this much money a month? Right now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to stress about the outcome. The only thing I can control is the inputs. The only thing I can control is what I put into it, not what comes out, not what is a byproduct of the work I put in. That is going to happen when it's going to happen, and I can't control that. If I could make a certain amount of money a month like that, then I would. If I could get a certain amount of clients, then I would. But I need to try every day to go get that. And then when it happens, and I need to be okay with that's what's happened. And you can take the same principle to everything in life. You can take the same principle to everything in life. Surrender yourself to the outcome. God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. It's crazy. You've got to let go. You've got to let go. And then that suffering between what you thought was going to happen and what actually happened, it goes poof, because you don't expect anything. You're not saying, this needs to be like this. I can't control this, but it needs to be like this. And I used to do that for the longest time, and I'm slowly getting better at it. And it's not easy to do. It's a simple thing to grasp and to think about, but it's not easy to do. By no means is it easy to do. And I've been able to slowly be able to get there over years of practicing it and thinking about it. It doesn't matter. You can't change anything. There's no point in worrying about something you cannot change. My dad used to tell me that all the time, and it's a good thing to remember. What's the point in worrying? What's the point in worrying about something that you can't change? There's no point. So you might as well accept what happens to you and surrender to life. Because life's going to kick your ass, and that's just what it is. It's not supposed to be peaches and cream the whole time. Like, I don't know who told you that it was just sunshine and rainbows 24/7. It's not. You got ups and downs. And maybe you might have to be down right now. Or maybe you're up. But one thing you should do when you're up is stay humble and stay even kill. Don't get too high with the highs. Don't get too low with the lows. You get too high with the highs, and the lows, you're going to get real low. You know what I mean? So just surrender, man. Let go. That's my message for today. Let go. Surrender to the outcome of whatever you're doing. Change the things you can. Have the courage to change the things you can, but accept the things you cannot, and accept the outcome. And stop trying to think. Stop trying to guess what's going to happen. Stop trying to, make a prediction in your head of like these great things are going to happen. Like, expect nothing, and then anything that happens that's good becomes better, and anything that's worse, it was like, okay, I didn't expect anything. You know what I mean? So let go, and that suffering that will happen between what reality is and where you wanted it to be will go away. And I think that's a big freeing thing that you can do for your mind. If you could actually internalize that and do it every time you're faced with something that bothers you or a situation, if you can tell yourself that, it'll help bring you peace. That's the message I have for you guys. Hopefully you can do it. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe to the channel.